Hey everybody, it's Ilya and I'm back with another motivational video. So I thought I was just going to do these once a week, but I saw this one and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I really wanted to do this one. So this is again from the Especialito. This is credit to them. They come every week. It's a newspaper here in New York. And I'll read it in Spanish and then I will translate. No temas fracasar, pues en cada fracaso hay lecciones valiosas que te acercarán al éxito. So, translated is, don't be afraid to fail, because in every failure there are lessons, really valuable lessons that can get you closer to success. I mean, how many of us are afraid to fail? I mean, you know, there's so many people. If I was in a stadium or an auditorium or whatever, I'm pretty sure that 85 to 90% of people would raise their hand. Because at one point or another in our lives, we've been afraid to fail at something, at anything that we've come across or have had to do. And sometimes what's funny is I actually spoke about fear in a group that I am a part of, the Goddess Circle, and it was, I mean, my goodness, you know, between that and my Warrior Tai Chi group, you know, we're always talking about different things in life, you know, and the fear of failure, it's a goal that I have to get over the fear, but fear of a ton of different things, you know. It could be, you know, in my case, the fear of the stomach issues, you know, like once I start getting better, it's like the fear of, oh my gosh, you know, if I start to feel a little bit weird or have a bad day like I did on Saturday, it's like, oh my god, oh my gosh, okay, it's gonna happen again. I'm gonna be really bad. I'm not gonna be able to go outside, and then I'm like, you know, mile a minute, like the Micro Machines guy. And if you're old enough like me, you'll know who he is. That was an 80s commercial, by the way. He was a dude that spoke really quickly, and he did so very well in that commercials. I think, what was it? No, it was Micro Machines. Yeah, they're little trucks and cars. Anyway, back to the subject here, which is the fear of failure. But how many times have we failed at something and we've learned valuable lessons, or maybe not even super valuable, but we've learned a lesson? You know, for example, something very small, as in, you know, a task that you had to do where it didn't come out quite right, or things didn't go the way you planned or that you thought they would, but then you learned, oh, okay, so that's how I'm supposed to do it. Okay, I messed up here, but now I know how I'm supposed to do it so that I'll do it right the next time. You know, something as simple as, you know, God rest his soul, my papa, you know, I would get desks and stuff from IKEA and dresser drawers, and I remember we tried to put it together, because you have to put it together. It's not done for you. And I loved doing it because it was me and him always doing it together. And I remember this one time, the very beginning, it wasn't coming together. It was a fail. Nothing happened to it. We didn't break it or anything, but we had to kind of take a step back and say, okay, well, something's not right. We're doing something wrong. Let's take a break. You know, what did we learn from that first failed attempt? Oh, okay. Read the instructions, the directions again. And there were some missing pieces, and the pieces happened to be buried in the box. So we read the instructions again much more carefully, and we said, oh, okay, all right, this is what we have to do, and we did it. And was it this one? I think it was the desk that I'm sitting at, actually. And to this day, oh, I'm getting emotional. I still have it because we did it together, and we took the time to analyze what we were doing wrong. Now, it wasn't a super valuable lesson because it wasn't a life or death type of situation, but it can be looked at as a valuable lesson in the sense that if you fail, figure it out. If you fail, try again. Now, I gotta say, is in terms of the word failure, and this is just because of a song that I heard years ago from a band called Super Chick, where one of the lines it says, "You fail if you don't try." So is it really truly a failure? If like if you tried, is it really a failure? Is it 100% failure? I don't know. It's debatable. I don't think so, because you attempted it. So I think in and of itself, you should give yourself kudos for trying, especially if it's something that you never did or you always wanted to do. You did it. You dove in and you gave it a shot, whatever that might be. So I don't know. I think maybe it just didn't work out. But just going by what this says, you failed. It was a failed attempt, as in the desk. It was a failed attempt, but we tried again. So the lessons were learned as far as the desk, but in life, there are lessons that we can learn. In relationships, for example, the relationship in this sense didn't work out, so it was a failure. But really, was it a true failure? Because also you can think about it as it didn't work out, but you learned something from it. So it might not have worked out. So maybe it was a 70% failure because you learned a lesson in that relationship of maybe what you want or what you don't want, how you want to be treated and how you don't want to be treated. And sometimes we lose sight of that. And that's, I think, in that respect, maybe we fail ourselves. So maybe that is a failure, because I know in my case and a lot of other people who are in relationships or in marriages, you learn a lesson. You lose yourself sometimes, and then you realize, yeah, that's not how I want to be treated, and you just go with the flow. And I think that is a true failure in that sense. And I learned a lesson when it came to relationships, but also when it came to jobs. I think sometimes you can also forget and just kind of fall off the wagon, so to speak, where you learned a lesson and then you go to a new relationship or a new situation, new job, whatever it is, and you revert back to that old way. Sometimes we need to remind ourselves, maybe even a post-it or a sign or some inspirational picture or whatever, to remind ourselves not only of our value, but of what we want in life. Or like my friend Mary says, our truth. What is your truth? And it's a constant battle. It's a constant practice. It's something you have to really put into practice, and it's not easy to do. Some of these things you figure, oh, well, these people you're an adult, you should know this by now. No, not necessarily. You're always learning. You're always learning, you're always growing, you're always trying to improve yourself so that you can have a better quality of life. But the lessons learned in life, yeah, they'll bring you closer to success. And whatever it is that you want to be successful at, you can be successful at life by learning these lessons, by being open to learning these lessons. But for me, I think if you don't learn your lesson, I think that would qualify it as a 100% failure. And I think in life, a lot of us have learned lessons. As they say, I learned the lesson the hard way. But you learned your lesson. Sometimes it takes a couple of times to remember those lessons. And that's it for today's motivational video. Actually, one more thing. I wanted to turn you on to this really positive song from that band Super Chick. I have the lyrics here. And this is whenever you are afraid to fail or you don't want to try again, just remember you're worth it to try again, to keep going. And these are the lyrics. The band is called Super Chick. This was years ago. These are the lyrics. I'm not afraid to fall. It means I climbed up high. To fall is not to fail. You fail if you don't try. Not afraid to fall. I might just learn to fly, and I will spread these wings of mine. And the chorus is, if I get up, I might fall back down again. So let's get up, come on. If I get up, I might fall back down again. We get up anyway. Let's see what else. Continuing, if I get up, I might fall back down again. We'll just jump and see, even if it's the 20th time. Like that Japanese proverb, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. It's just about everything. All these motivations is just about, let's keep going, let's keep trying. Never give up, keep fighting. It's easier said than done. I say that a lot, but it's true, because each day brings its own obstacles. It brings its own challenges. And how we get through it is how we grow, But that's what makes life unique. Sometimes that's what makes life fun. And that's all the obstacles and all the things that you go through is what, if you take a step back, you realize like how strong you are and that you've been through it or been through worse. And you got through it just fine. So if this motivational video reached you, you liked it, or it helped you in any way, just comment below and have a wonderful week.